began pulsing a tight, high-frequency sonic wave. The Gamma Giant's eyes, already burning, narrowed. A new vein of fury, an unnatural level of hatred, pulsed beneath its skin. It wasn't just angry now, it was in agonizing pain, and it blamed the flying metal man. The giant ripped an I-beam from the side of a partially demolished skyscraper. It was a movement of pure, devastating intent. It didn't swing, it threw. The beam sliced through the air toward Iron Man with the speed of a projectile, a whistling harbinger of doom. Tony's sensors screamed. He had milliseconds. He activated every thruster, barely peeling away as the girder cleaved through the air where he had been moments before. The impact against the opposite building was total. Dust, concrete, and rebar exploded outwards. FRI! That wasn't random, it's focused. Something is amplifying the rage. As he pulled back, desperately trying to recalibrate his weapons for a non-lethal, high-containment attack, the corrupted, fragmented signal from another universe flashed across his HUD again. Contain, don't kill, weapon. The urgency in that phantom voice, the echo of his own broken AI, was paralyzing. He was facing a clock, a desperate race to understand and contain the threat before it either destroyed the city or before the forces of this new world, blinded by fear and legalities, tried to take him out. The time for fighting had ended. The time for desperate strategy had begun. The silence was the loudest sound. It was a silence earned through shared exhaustion and calculated risk. The colossal green form of the Gamma Giant was now encapsulated, not by walls or chains, but by a shimmering, pulsing field of pure, contained energy, Tony Stark's maximum energy containment field. The giant was still roaring, still thrashing, but its movements were agonizingly slow, trapped in the technological vice grip. The green Hoden, the cosmic wound above Gotham, had begun to contract, pulling at the captured entity. The air crackled one last time with the scent of ozone and something akin to burned sulfur. Tony Stark, his armor scorched, his energy reserves on empty, hovered motionless, watching the thing that looked like his friend but felt like his nightmare slowly being reclaimed by the void. Then he felt the presence, silent, immovable. He turned his head slowly. Standing on the ledge of a half-demolished water tower, cloaked in shadow even as the first gray light of dawn touched the horizon, was the city's true guardian, Batman. No words were exchanged, no pleasantries, no explanations for the strategic diversions and the perfectly timed electromagnetic pulse that had helped Tony lock his target. It was a study in contrasts. The gleaming, verbose, technological god of one universe facing the somber, silent, tactical specter of another. Tony knew the drill. In his world, a handshake or a press conference followed the heroics. Here, there was only the cold, unyielding judgment of a man who dealt in the shadows and trusted nothing. The power core is depleted. The containment is stable for 53 seconds. It needs to be gone before then. Tony's voice was hoarse, stripped of its usual bravado. Batman simply nodded, a single, infinitesimal movement in the shadows. He had already assessed the vectors, already anticipated the failure rate. His silence was the ultimate form of respect, a strategist acknowledging a desperate maneuver. As the containment field began to shimmer and fade, the Gamma Giant was pulled up into the shrinking hole in the sky, its final muted roar a sound of tragic release rather than anger. And then it was gone. The sky snapped shut. The air smelled only of dust and rain again. Tony stared at the empty sky, then at the rubble. He had won a battle, but he had lost a piece of his confidence. This world was different. Its threats were primal, yes, but its heroes were measured, tactical, and fundamentally untrusting. They didn't need a golden suit to be formidable. They needed conviction and a better plan. He didn't wait for Gordon's SWAT teams to arrive. A silent contract had been fulfilled. With the last of his suit's power, Iron Man launched himself high into the atmosphere, a fleeting metallic comet disappearing into the morning light. Batman remained on the ledge watching the departure. He didn't pursue, he didn't call it in. He simply observed the wreckage, calculating the costs and committing the Iron Man variable to his contingency files. A question lingers in the silent, ruined streets of Gotham. A question whispered in the dust and the broken glass. What happens when the gods you know are replaced by the nightmares you can't contain? And what truly defines a monster? The power it wields, or the universe that created it?